Yo, what's up with y'all, man? I hope you're doing good. If you're new and you're a fan of the NBA, subscribe to this channel. So let's get straight into it.
It's like it's Minute Maid, hijack 4, renegade, 24, number 8, Kobe shit fade away, ballin' since 11th grade, still in school, let him hate.
So, we have to talk about it. Dwight Howard. Yes, Dwight Howard is by far one of the strangest Hall of Famers to ever exist. He's been through his ups and was at the top of the game once upon a time. But those ups didn't last too long at all. And it seems like he's been trying to hit the restart button every single year. And throughout these years, he's been doing things like beefing with Shaq over pointless titles. And having really tough allegations from a man, girl, let's just say a person, trying to diminish his career and his name. Dwight Howard is really weird, and he's been going through hell these last few years. And on his way there, he's burned a lot of bridges coincidentally. So, you know me, as I was just sitting down doing my thing, being on Twitter and Instagram. By the way, follow me on those two platforms. So anyways, as I was sitting down doing my thing and thinking about my next move, something just clicked and a light bulb lit over my head about this man right here. This weird, freaky, deaky, 6'11", 260-pound man named Dwight Howard. His history, not only on the court, but bro, off the court, is quite alarming. So I have a question for you guys, alright? I want you to answer this down below in the comment section. I'm going to be waiting. Have you guys ever seen the book or watched the movie or even heard of the series, Diary of the Wimpy Kid? If you aren't familiar with that series, there is something called the cheese touch.
The what? The cheese touch. One day, a kid named Darren Walsh made the biggest mistake of his life. Darren touched the cheese! Darren had the cheese touch.
A stinky, smelly slice of cheese that infects and pollutes the air wherever it goes. It reeks and has an extremely foul presence. You see, I may be a maniac, I may be a weirdo, whatever the case is, okay? But that is the connection that I made in my mind. Dwight Howard is the cheese. He has the cheese touch. Because wherever he goes, for some odd reason, as if he's a plague, an illness detrimental to others, things end up going bad and the organization ends up going downhill. So let's really dive deep into this and elaborate. It all started on this date right here, August 9th, 2012. Dwight gets traded to the Los Angeles Lakers in an attempt to create the NBA's next super team, featuring at the time Steve Nash, Pau Gasol, and the one and only Kobe Bean Bryant. Just the idea of those four running the floor with matching jerseys at first glance was just an intriguing sight. Nash and Pau, one of the best passers and high IQ players at their position, could space out the floor and be third and fourth options on their team. Kobe could just do Kobe and dominate in any ISO situation, while Dwight dominated in the paint, snatching up boards, blocking shots, and getting up easy points through putbacks and pick and roll situations. All of those initial thoughts though just ended up turning into a fallacy because of a multitude of things. Injuries ruined them, and so did casting roles, specifically the role Dwight was given. Although the original plan would have led them to massive success, it wasn't the way he wanted to go about it. He wasn't the centerpiece of the formula. Instead, he was just more of a complementary. And that is what caused some friction between him and the rest of the team. The Lakers were the first team that he ever soiled. The first case of many that he would later be a part of. The Lakers' luck after that 1 year with Dwight would be non-existent. During game 80 of that season, literally in one of the last games, as we all know, Kobe tore his Achilles, and that would be the end of not only him, but also the end of the Lakers' highly praised culture. Once Dwight Howard touched down in that city, everything turned sour for that organization. Their season would be filled with miscommunication, separation, and disappointment, with injuries sprinkled on top. The injury that put their relevancy on pause and caused them, to this day, to be the laughingstock of the league. Now that was Dwight's first victim. Now things may not seem too ironic just yet, but give it a minute, the dots will start to connect as the next few minutes goes by. After leaving LA on a bad note, he decided to take his talents to Texas to play with one of the NBA's brightest young stars and a future Hall of Famer, James Harden on the Houston Rockets, forming a new star duo. After his awkward letdown year in LA, the Cheese, aka Dwight Howard, took his talents to Houston, and he'd spent 3 years of the peak of his prime there. And throughout his tenure in that location, there of course would be a lot of ups and downs. What was interesting about Dwight's time in Houston was that his peak didn't equate to his team getting more success. When he was at his high, his team was performing at the low. And vice versa, when the team was doing well, his numbers were deducted. During his first year in Houston, the Rockets dramatically improved and won 54 games compared to the 45 games the previous year. Although on paper things are clearly getting better, it still got the same result from the previous year and got bounced out of the first round. The following season, Dwight goes through some serious injury issues and has a down year, but his play did end up picking up in the playoffs, and the Rockets for the first time in a long time reached the Western Conference Finals. But of course they would only reach up to that point to get smacked by the Warriors. After this 2014-15 season, it would be, and most likely will be, the last ounce of success Dwight Howard will taste ever in the NBA. Now the curse, the stench that Dwight Howard brings along wherever he goes, didn't completely ruin Houston as bad as his other victims. If anything, they actually got the best of it. After the 2016 playoffs, another year full of disappointments for Dwight, the Rockets again get booted out of the first round, and Dwight decides to part ways with them because of the lack of his needs and success. And also, throughout his time there were multiple rumors about a divided locker room between him and their best player, James Harden. So the stank moves on and travels east to his hometown. My hometown, the Atlanta Hawks. Now the Hawks were getting ready to lose Al Horford in the offseason, and the situation for both sides were perfect. A match made in heaven. The hometown kid is back, and is back to not only revive his career, but also this depressing sports town as well. He had the help of up-and-coming PG Dennis Schroeder, one of the most well-rounded fours in the NBA at the time, Paul Millsap, and former Coach of the Year, Mike Budenholzer. Another fairy tale that would have been an extremely satisfying story, just tore up into pieces, into smithereens. While the Hawks that same offseason did lose 3 All-Stars, they realistically still should have been better than what they were in reality, but they weren't and regressed. Now I do get it, okay, this should have been worse as a team. You lost 3 quote-unquote All-Stars, but the drop-off was quite shocking. They were just a few games above 500. With Dwight being in our locker room, he did what he did best and released his fumes out on a daily basis, and did completely unnecessary things like give pre-game speeches and go on and on about how the team needs to be together and blah, 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 all this other stuff, while at the same time he's out here being disengaged on defense and being unhappy and complaining on offense. And then he'd turn around and beg and complain some more about how he needs more touches. He wanted to spread his fumes when nobody wanted a part of it. Things got so bad after that year that we were pretty much forced to trade him just after the first year of his contract, because of the detrimental person that he was to our team morale, and also because of Paul Millsap's departure. Once the news broke out about Dwight getting traded away from this city, the entire team celebrated his departure, and celebrated because they could breathe once again, breathe freely, without having a chance of taking in any toxic air. They could once again just play ball and have fun, instead of having a washed 30-year-old man down their back asking for things that were just out of reach. After he did his duty in ATL, we ended up missing the playoffs for the first time in 10 years. We had one of the longest streaks in the NBA, second behind the San Antonio Spurs. Everything fell apart. Our All-Star left, and our future Hall of Famer coach did the next year too. And as we speak right now, we're still trying to work our way up back to the top. The next stop for Dwight Howard though was in Charlotte, and over there he did have sort of a bounce back year. He put up great numbers statistically, and he was the healthiest that he's ever been as of late in his career. But none of that was able to change the biggest issue that held him back as a player: his ability to mesh and gel well with the people on his side, his teammates. He was always stepping on someone's toes, expecting things to be similar to the way they were when he was in Orlando. But he mentally has been stuck in the past for so long. Just like, you know, some cheese or whatever you leave in the fridge for too long. If you leave something in the fridge for too long, it's gonna end up stinking up. He's holding on to it. The days of him putting up hella points and grabbing up hella rebounds and getting all of the attention are now gone. Those days are expired. He failed to realize that he is not only the Dwight of the past anymore, but the NBA, the X's and the O's, and the philosophy of the game is completely different. So once he landed in Charlotte, they're expecting him to do what he does best and help them reach their goals and make the playoffs. But that doesn't happen, as we all know now. So after that 1 year, what did they do? They told him to kick rocks and ended up giving him up for what they originally had to give for him. Nothing. And what do you know, just like the Hawks, the Lakers, and the Houston Rockets momentarily, the Hornets were put in another tough position. Right now, as we speak, they are on the verge of losing the best player in their franchise's history. That man, Kemba Walker, is a free agent this summer, and I believe that he is gone. Now, am I putting all the blame on Dwight Howard? Oh, it's his fault that Kemba is gone? No, I am not. That is ludicrous. But this man, Dwight Howard, is just proving my superstitious point. He is literally a walking bad luck charm. So now, as of recent, you know, he finds his way on the Washington Wizards. And wow, what do you know? Washington's franchise is going down the drain. They traded away Otto Porter, who is looking like a new key piece to Chicago's success, for nothing, and they lost John Wall to an injury. And somehow this man figures out a way to tear his Achilles in his own home, where he's supposed to be chilling. Where do we ever hear these type of things? This is the Dwight Howard curse at its absolute peak. In LA, Kobe tears his Achilles, and his star guard in Washington too does the same exact thing. In ATL, we lost Al Horford and Paul Millsap back-to-back years. Two key pieces around the time when Dwight was involved in our organization. And also in Washington, you guys know how I am with these predictions. That man Bradley Beal is about to get traded soon, and I didn't even mention that man Kemba Walker. 9 times out of 10, he's for sure out of there. This man Dwight Howard's stench is an unstoppable brute force that we've never seen before. No type of perfume, cologne, Febreze, or good energy can put up a fight with this man's unbearable green fumed force field of energy. This man stinks. He needs to be cleansed. Now don't get me wrong, alright? I'm not over here saying that Dwight Howard is a toxic person, alright? Who am I to say that? What I will for sure say is that the things happening around him, I'm worried. Whatever players or organizations he's involved with, their situation just perishes. First it was the Lakers, then it was the Houston Rockets. After that, it was the Atlanta Hawks, then the Charlotte Hornets, and now it is the Washington Wizards. Who is next up on the list? Dwight Howard, D12. Do people still call him that? I don't know. But that man is a really suspect player, not only off the court, but on the court as well. And as stated earlier in the beginning of this video, this man does have the cheese touch. It is now confirmed. Whatever team he goes to, whoever's breathing space he is in, things just to go bad. He is a team wrecker. And for that, man, I'm not gonna lie, I want him to join the Warriors next year. To do what he does best, spread his infectious disease.
Biggest mistake of his life. Darren, touch the cheese!
But this is the end of the video, man. I'm just kidding about that. I don't want to see Curry hurt or nothing like that. That's dead. And if you do, you're a really weird person. But anyways, this is the end of the video. I really do appreciate you for taking time out of your beautiful, spectacular day to come over here on my channel and to see what I have to talk about today. But like I said, man, follow me on Instagram and also on Twitter. But I appreciate you for watching. Make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with all your other friends. But until then, I'll get right with you.
No way, remember back when I couldn't get a play, no home, I ain't have a place to stay, I got to work, made it certain free the way, told my girl who'd ever thought.